Right, morning. Just check as usual. That things look all right. Come on, YouTube. Make it work. Make it work. Are we good? Thinking about it. Come on, YouTube. Make it work. There we go. Make it work. Right, welcome to Taliban Farm for day 2 practice session. I've come back to the same peg. Actually, peg 19 on house pool. A couple of reasons really. One, a good stream here yesterday, and signal is king. And I felt that we had a good stream yesterday, and there was a bit of buffering, but it was pretty good overall for a 5-hour stream. And secondly is this peg represents all the things I kind of want for practicing my overshotting. I've got some reeds. Morning, John. And I got a little bit of lilies. They're not lilies, but I'll just show you. So down to my right hand side, just down here, I've got some growth in the water. I've got a couple of irises, and I've got some of these plants growing up, so they provide a little bit of cover. So I want that. I've got a far bank that's 13 meters under those reeds, so I've got a place to go over there. I've got another little bank of those, I'm going to call them lilies, over there. And then on my left hand edge down here, I've got some lilies here, and I've got some reeds over there. So I've got lilies, reeds, lilies, and I've got out in the middle. And I want to practice some overshotting today. I'm going to run through the rigs. It's a bit of a spoiler, I think, for that video that I was going to make. I've got 3 rigs today, 3 different depths. And I said the other day I was going to practice and decide which float I wanted to use for overshotting. And the answer is I want to use one of these RW1s. I've got it bulked with 6 number 10s. I've got to cut that, trim that hook length a bit. 6 number 10s. It takes 2 to shot it, and 4 is a nice weight to overshot it. I've practiced, I play around with things the other day. I've got a 4-inch hook length. That's a size 18 SLWG. I think probably I want a 16 SLWG on it, but I've got to tie some more up after yesterday, so I just want to trim that hook length down. And I've got a 12-inch version, so that's 12 inches from float to hook. I've got 9 inches above. I've got a 12-inch version. I'm trying to start dropping top kits in the lake now. I've got an 18-inch version, and you have to trust me, I've got a 24-inch version. I don't think I'm going to use the 24. I'm going to start on the 18. I've not put any bait in, honest. There's my 6 pints of maggots, fresh from the shop. I've got 3 different catapults, because I've got to just try and work out which one I need. I think I need the 18cm version. Memory's everything. Morning, Lee. And that's it. So I'm going to practice some overshotting today. I'll ping some maggots around all over the place, and I'm going to try and catch some fish. That's the plan. So yeah, let's put a bit of bait in. As I say, I haven't fed anything. What am I going to get over there? Really, I want casters for this, but I'm not spending the money on casters for a practice. It says maggots. The practice is about the technique, and right now it's practicing getting that bait close enough to those reeds. So I think this would be the right one, that 18cm. And then I want some up by those reeds. I want some just down here. In fact, I'm going to throw them. I want some down there. I want some off of there. So that's it. I'm going to chuck some bait around. try and catch some fish. Morning fish, double maggot on the hook. I'll probably catch perch all day. But fingers crossed not. I got a double ship just because I've got a fence behind me. But that's okay. And I'm going to try and get that camera spin all the way around there. So when I sit side on, you'll still be able to see that in front of me. Just got to get my tappet sorted out. No. Harder than that, Graham. Okay. Where's that? Okay, catapult. I might also just feed a line. Okay, not you. I might feed a line. Just out in that open water. Just towards the bridge. I'm saying that I've got to practice some stuff before the festival. This is exactly what I've got to practice. Well, there would be casters on the day, but if I can get it right with this today, with the maggot, then I'll get it right with casters. I'll just overshoot it and then I can tone it down a little bit. Yeah, that's better. And then maybe I'm going to fire a line just out there in the open water. So I'm thinking and talking and thinking and catapulting. I'll get into the swing of it in a bit. Just got myself a roach. How's that work? Everyone see? Morning, Gavin. Yeah, that camera angle's alright, isn't it? Yeah, ducks have homed in on me. Clearly seen me chucking bait out. Right. I'm going to have that off my top kit if I'm not careful. Now, I was listening to Paul and Andy's little podcast last night on Paul's Match Focus channel, and Paul said that they'd removed the line lash limit, and I don't remember seeing that, but I trust him. I'm going to have to go and recheck the rules today. It used to be a 4-inch line lash limit, and if that's gone, then I wonder how that's bumped that fish. I don't know how that's going to change things, and I might have to have a little experiment today. I guess it means that before, your minimum rig was 10 inches because you had to be 6 inches below the float and 4 inches above, and now you could just be 3 inches. I wonder how that's going to change the fishing on pegs like House 6 and stuff like that, where by default you just fish to the reeds. That's certainly what I've seen people doing anyway. I just chuck some bait randomly around there. Now, I see you, moorhen, and your babies. Can we have a successful day today and not? You just come and stood on those reeds, haven't you, and staring at my bait. I'm just gonna come to the right for a second. I'm not here to catch the moorhen today. I mean, just bumped another fish. Just grabbed it. I've not hooked it properly. Might just change to the shallower rig. Got to fire that maggot's better. That's better. Clearly shows I do need that practice, right? I'm just thinking, I don't know if I would. I know I had a longer lash when I was fishing in front of me when I was practicing the other day, but I'm not sure now that I want it if I'm fishing across to cover. Took too long. F1. Or is it? There it is. Yeah, I thought that, Lee, but let's not worry about it. If it was a match, I would obviously, I wouldn't go straight on things, but I'm only having a pleasure fishing session, so I thought, oh, just to start straight on it. It's more getting the catapulting sorted out in my head. You know? And then how much can I overhang the back of the pole, and I don't normally fish with sections behind me, and so that would be useful if I did. See there, I fired the bait and it's a section too close. That's better. Again, too close. Like 15 ball. Oh, it's just live streaming me, just trying to decide which catapult I want to use. I think I'm going to shorten that rig down. It's confused me a bit actually, because I was happy with 9 inches the other day off the top. I was fishing in open water, and now it just looks so wrong against this reed. No fish, no duck, right. Do you know, I've seen a swirl to my reeds on the left, and I've seen a swirl to my reeds on the right, and these fish spawning. It's foul hooked. Didn't look foul hooked. It was. I'll feed the back of that. I'll feed out. Not that far. Out that way. That's bait. That's better. It's too far when it's against the reeds because I've got the overhang of the reeds. I think it doesn't need to be that far down because I don't want to. Oh, it's hard for me to work this out actually. I don't want to strike up into reeds, that's for sure. Anyway, practice is practice, right? Gonna mess about and get that shallower rig and then just shallow it up a little bit and consume some of that 9 inches. I think it's the right thing to do. Morning Austin, morning everyone else that's joined. You catch me for a practice session, probably more of a practice than yesterday. In terms of, I know how to fish down the edge. Today I'm trying to get my catapulting correct, and it's not a style of fishing I do a lot of, so I need to practice, and I'm going to try and iron these kinks out today and not Sunday. Sunday's too late. So it's a case of do it today. I can't decide whether I want this 15 centimetre or this 18. I think the 18 is the one. I think the casters, that'll be perfect. I've also got to get this right in terms of how much of a gap do I want between the float and the top of the pole. See at that, I pull it out too far. It's not enough. Still too far away from the bank, that bait. I want it tighter into the bank. Some guy's clutch keeps going on the far banker house. Right, I've decided it's the 18. I've got to pull it back quite a lot. That's all I've got to remember. Just because I've decided I think that's the right one, I'm going to get the 15 and I'm going to bottom the 15 out. Right, as I said, it's the 18. I've then decided it's not. It's the 15, bottomed out, which is going to be easier for me to remember. I think it's the 18 inch when I need to fish 16 metres across. Slightly hampering myself by trying to do it with this little extender piece on the camera so you can see when I ship over. So yesterday I was just on a single piece and it's not very intrusive, but this is what I normally use when I'm fishing 30 metres on the river, and then I turn it so it sticks out a little bit from my chest. I turn it so the picture stays central for you as I'm streaming it. But as I'm trying to fire out bait to that left hand side, because I'm streaming, I'm just not pausing enough and using the right hand to catapult the bait out. So I'm making 1,000 excuses. Practice, practice. I wouldn't fish this peg, by the way, just like this in a match. I would not go over to that far bank because there's normally an angler on the other bank. That's like a little there's a bridge there, and then there's effectively that island you can get on from the bridge. If I was fishing this in a match, I would do what I did yesterday really, which is just fish left hand edge, right hand edge, left hand edge. I might fish a bit further up actually past those first bits of reed. I can't throw bait there, but I might do that. But equally yesterday it was alright down here, close, so my friend Craig Meadows would tell me just fish like really close where you can chuck the bait ground. So this would not be what I would be doing in this peg specifically. Too far to go across really. I just need to remember, just put this bait in like that. It'll be more accurate. If I do this for 4 hours, then I should have the hang of it. He says, and I'll come along and just use different bait tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Sunday. Just need to be a little bit calmer over there, I think. And I need a shallower rig. I've got a feeling. I didn't plumb it up, but I don't think it's that deep over there, so I'm probably too deep for what I'm trying to do, so I might take one of those longer rigs and just cut it down in a bit. This is a bit better. I feel a little bit more steady with it. Just bump to fish then. Other things, I don't know how much more effective. I don't think this is actually any more effective over here against these reeds. But if I just had a normal shallow kit on, I was just lifting and dropping. How are we all doing? Oh, morning everybody. Oh, that's right. Morning everyone. You join me at Taliban Farm for a little bit of overshotted rig practice. That's what I'm doing. It's an interesting method where effectively you're creating the illusion of bait going in when you flick the tip of your pole, and then you can follow it down with a straight rig because it's overshotted. It's too heavy, so you're pretty much in tight lines. So if the fish grabs it, they self-hook themselves. Busy little method, and responsible for a lot of big weights. But I don't know, maybe I would if I was there. If I was really fishing there like this, maybe I'd just fish a normal rig. I know on that spring spectacular, when I was just further up to my right onto the reeds, I caught just as many fish on a normal rig, just lifting and dropping, a normal shallow rig, than I did on the overshotted rig, making a load of noise. Today is just about trying to get some things right in my head. How much line do I want between the top of the pole and the float? Deciding which catapult I want to use. Although I'm getting that right in my head for maggots, and I'm going to be using casters, I would expect, but casters are heavier, so if the conclusion is it's this 15cm catapult, then that's going to be the right one for casters as well. Yeah, I think if I just had a normal rig that I was lifting and dropping, I think it'd be just as effective. Maybe I'm too deep. Maybe there's not enough fish there. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Big fish just come to the top of the water in my peg. Thanks, fish. Whew. Let's have a little look off this right hand peg a second. That's what you want, isn't it? Beautiful one. Vicious. I think I probably want the steeper rig on here. I don't know why, but I feel that's not right. We'll be able to get a little bit deeper in the peg. maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're shallower. Let's just lower that in. So what's that? 6 inches. Just go to the floating up. Look. Oh, well, okay. Shallower ground. Not deep, but shallower. Oh, I think that's where they are. So I'm going to take that 24-inch rig that I've made up this morning that I'm never going to use. And I'm going to shallow that right up. Give myself a 6-inch rig. Right, let's use this one. I hope everyone's alright. I'm very conscious. I'm not sure how massively interesting watching my practice session is, but it's fishing. That's what I've got in my head. It's fishing, so it's probably better than anything else that's on telly. Right, let's move these down. That's a 4. Push that to that bulk. That's probably not true actually, but thanks for tuning in. Right, 12 was too much. Let's push this down then. So that's let's move that down. What's that? 8 inches. Yeah, 8 inches, and then I'll retie that. I'm sure people are screaming, why don't you have your top kits marked? Because I don't. There's a simple answer. Move that then I could see. A bit easier. Right, excuse me, so that's now 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 inches, that rig. Let's see. To move that rubber because I'm about to lose it. Maybe I fished it out. Let's try that shallow rig on that far side. Morning Hugo, bonjour. Ça va? I can't get into a big French conversation, by the way, because we've just nearly exhausted my French, but welcome Hugo. Hugo, it'd be interesting, are you in the UK and you're French, or are you French and in France? Or are you not French at all and you're just talking French? I'm interested in, am I on YouTube France? I thought that might be shallow over there. I wonder if it's actually that shallow over there. I was fishing on the bottom with that longer kit. real French. Where are you though, Hugo? Are you in France? Or are you in the UK? Am I on YouTube France? Or YouTube in France? That's what I'm trying to work out. So I've got to remember when I do this, I need to plumb up against the far banks to understand what the depth is. So I choose which shallow gets to use. Definitely a lot of fish moving today. I think they're spawning. Oh, I've got to go for that little dobbing opportunity. There's a fish just on my right hand side. I can't resist it. It's just come up in the water. I'm just going to drop that in front of you. You can have that? Okay, no you're not. Today was watch this channel. Pick my hands out in a line-up. I love that, Neil. Oh cool, you're in France then. Yeah, nice. Oh, nice, you go. Good job. my friend William fishes for England, and I've got a lot of time and respect for all international anglers. And that's not saying I don't. That's not to the contrary of any other anglers, but if you fish for your country, it's a awesome thing to do. I'm just having a little practice. Don't berate me too much. More in, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Okay. Didn't do that, I'm not going to fish there. Where have I been feeding that shallow line? About there. Right, I need to change that rig. Where am I fishing? There, let's fish it there. Take 2 sections off. Get the deeper rig out. I suspect that's too shallow for there. Let's go back to the 18-inch. Topping under my feet there. I picked my hands out in a lineup. I had someone, I met someone the other day, Neil, at Busket Park, and he said he recognised my voice. I thought that was quite funny. Someone else has recognised my watch. I have people trying to guess what type of watch I've got. So I feel a lot happier with this overshotted rig like this in open water. Just in terms of the flicking and the catapult in the bait. Let me fish over here. As I said, I wouldn't fish like this on this peg at all, but I'm just trying to practice for if I get a peg where shallow fishing is required. Open fish, open fish. What's that? 18 inches. But there's a ton of fish sitting on the bottom. Excuse me, underneath these maggots, underneath this rig. And just in case you're wondering why I'm not going down and fishing on the bottom, I'm trying to practice fishing an overshotted rig. So I've got to practice catapulting a lot. I've got to practice flicking this tip. I'm trying to get happy with the length of line. I'm trying to get happy with the depth. Unlike yesterday, I was fishing down the margins and short. This is a skill I've got to get better at, and you only get better at stuff, as I was saying yesterday, the more you do it. So I'm quite happy that I'm not catching anything at the moment in this line. Got to get used to firing maggots on this catapult, because that's exactly what I might be doing for the next couple of days in the Pole Masters, or next week I should say. Just trying to get the idea of how many maggots are going in that catapult, what distance am I fishing at, what's nice. At the moment I'm making a complete mess of it. What am I fishing? Top 7. And then come Monday, Tuesday, it should be a bit more muscle memory of what I'm doing. A roach grabbed it, didn't I? It's not terrible, but it's not a grouping of bait that's going to win me a section. keep flicking that float out of the water despite that 9 inches. I think maybe it's because I'm not concentrating enough. Changed that hook length. I don't know why, but that hook hook's gone as well. Ooh. Throw the pole in, that's going to be good. There's some fish on that left hand line. Oh, perch. What a surprise. Based on the number that I caught yesterday, I'm surprised I haven't hooked one yet against those runes. Right, next time I bring that in, someone remind me to change the hook length. Hello. Nice fish. So if you're enjoying the stream, I'd ask always, as always, just hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. It helps send the. I've got to change the hooklength. Helps send the stream to more people. Helps promote it in YouTube, and then thus gets fishing to more people, which is primarily one of the desired outcomes of the stream. And that gives me, or gives us, some more people to chat to about fishing. Get some more fishing as a type of content to watch, and then who knows? There's only very few people that live stream fishing right now. Very few. I'm aware of about 4. Who am I aware of? Me, I live stream. Mick, he live streams on a channel called A Right Touch of Fishing. Julian, he live streams on his channel called Julian. 3, and then is that it? 3 of us. There's 3 people that live stream fishing, and then obviously there's a bunch of carp anglers that do it on TikTok and stuff like that. But there's no, basically that's someone having a chat, and then very rarely that catch a few fish. And I see a few people on TikTok doing it, but I don't see anyone else match fish live stream like I do. All the venues that I fish, I see a few people predator angling, walking along a canal, but I don't know of anyone else that live streams it here, for example. Maybe they exist, but I've not bumped into them. So yeah, likes are always appreciated, as is saying hello. Yeah, it's once a year, Gary, but yeah, here I am. And then next week, if I've got a decent signal, or hopefully that means if I'm drawing house, extension or new pool, then I'll go live for the Pole Masters. If I draw club, jennies, top, high, canal, you're probably out of luck. But I do have one last chance of an opportunity to do that. There's one last bit of technology I need to check out, but it won't be before then, so I'll have to wait and see. There's a few there, isn't there? Yeah. I had a foul at that fish. Let's just try and keep these 3 lines fed. Got to be that many maggots. What's that? 10 maggots. I've got to do that twice. No. That's alright, 10 maggots. Alright. Flick them a bit far. That's better. Clutch going on his rod. It's like he's got £10 carp on. About that many maggots, that's right. Talking to myself, trying to decide how many maggots to put in the catapult. Maybe all these fish on the right, they're just on the bottom, and my shallow kit basically just gets to the bottom. I'm not actually fishing shallow at all. Still, it's working, I guess, isn't it? It's working. I've been fishing for how long? What time did I start? 10-ish, half 10 maybe. What's that? 2 hours. And what have I worked out? I want to keep the 9-inch. I want to keep the 9-inch lash. Maybe if I'm fishing under reeds, maybe that would be different. Maybe that's what I need to try. Put another section on and go and fish under those reeds a little bit further. But for flicking it up, then watching it go back down, this is right for me. Morning, Mats. Well, nearly afternoon. No, I'm just fishing maggot, and I'm trying to just focus on my overshotting. Just trying to get a little bit of muscle memory, trying to decide which catapult for the far bank, trying to work out how many maggots I want to put in the catapult when I'm fishing top 7, that type of stuff. So it's a technique day. Catching fish is a secondary activity. really don't like that catapult for that. I can't get 10 maggots in an accurate grouping. Come on, more in, clear off. Actually feels better with that other catapult because it's just on the tension. So if I'm fishing top 7 like this 18 centimetre catapult is better than the 15. The 15 is better when I'm fishing 13 metres and I'm trying to make sure that the bait gets into that far bank. Just what can happen on the 18 is because you're not bottoming out the elastic, every now and then it just doesn't go far enough. But on the 15, because I'm bottoming out the elastic, i.e., you know, really stretching it, it's more successful at getting that bait over to the far bank. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not even sure that makes sense to me, but so I'll just have a little think about that. So 18, if I just put it under tension, it's good for top 7. Well, number 7, it's not top 7, but number 7 on my pole. Which I was fishing left or right, this is where I would want to be, I think. So yeah, just under tension, I get that bait relatively accurate, he says. But that many maggots, yeah. It's much better. Whereas when I try and do that with that 15, I just put that under tension, it's not as good. Yeah, it's definitely better. Yeah. Okay, that's that worked out then. Ready for the weekend. Nice. Oof. So that's better for that. And now I need to, I want that 15 for blasting it over. Yeah, it's just right for that. Far bank into the reeds. Yeah, nice. So then I've got to sort out fishing under those reeds. We'll do this with this shorter kit. This is where you push the pole literally into the reeds and then fish effectively underneath. I've got to have a practice at that. I've never really done it, so that's what I'm going to do on this left-hand bank of reeds. Watch, this is into this rig. I actually just push it, push that pole tip just under those reeds. Look at that. That was pretty successful. That's what Kieran Marston did for 5 hours on the last day of the Pole Masters last year on house 6, and absolutely took out the match. That's what he did. Where the reeds were overhanging, and then that's creating a natural fish cover. Just get that pole tip and push it under the reeds, so you're fishing under the reeds. And now I think it was not, the kit wasn't like this, right? I think the float would have been a lot higher, like up here, but I don't think any of that makes any difference. It's effectively just how deep you're fishing under the reeds. And they're just pinging bait over the top of it, casters, and then because of their weight they'll fall through every now and then. And then when you disturb the fish every now and then, I think what you've got to get right is how far under those reeds you're going to push that pole. There's the one fish that's under there. That's my second bite. Now you're not allowed to garden anymore, so you're not allowed to push the reeds over, but the reeds naturally go over, and then the ducks and the moorhens walk on the inside of them, and that flattens them as well. So there'll be still loads of places on the venue where you'll see reeds. overhanging. I've got this large branch bit I don't really like, but what I could do is I could do it, if I did it here, I could practice the same technique, I think. On the left hand side, just up here. So you're not going over, you're going under, like that. Now if I'm going to do well in my section at the pole masters, it's not going to be fishing like this. It's going to be fishing short and fishing down the edge, but I've got to know how to do it in case I end up drawing, maybe I draw peg 6 on house, you know, everyone will be like, whoa, go on Graham. You just got to fish a overshotted rig under the reeds. Right, I've never done it. Like what? Let's not be getting in that situation. As you can see, it's effective. It's certainly effective. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a bad throat currently. I'm unable to clear it properly. I have a new gastroenterologist friend who's going to stick a top kit down my throat and have a look. Chuck some bait there, chuck some bait down there. I need to bring another roller as well. If I'm going to end up in this scenario, I need to bring more than 2 rollers with me in the car, which is okay, I can do that. In case I have stuff set up at different angles, if I want to fish under the reeds up the bank, like this. The skill here is going to be not bringing that, or bringing the tip of that pole out just ever so gently. Not sure how much to stick it under the water. There must be certain signs of the reeds that say don't stick it under there where you're planning to. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? I've got to learn what they are. It's good, look at it. Right, it's good, isn't it? It's good. as a method, it is very effective. That's for sure. Well, I wasn't sure about catching many fish today, but we are catching a few, so that's good. If you just joined the channel, what is it, just gone 12:15? I'm just practicing various different overshotted techniques, from fishing up against the far bank to fishing out in the open, down the edge to lilies, and then pushing the pole tip under reeds that are folded over to in order to get to the fish that are hiding below for the cover. I just sorted out my catapult. 15cm for the far bank. Under tension is enough to blast that bait in, and then a 15cm when I'm fishing a top 7, left or right. We just need to feed that top 7 here again. Yeah, I'm very happy with that now. Let me get that pole. If you can see it, hopefully you can. It's rebanked to my left. I'm just going to drop it down and then just push that pole underneath those reeds that have folded over where this moorhen lives. There's moorhens hanging around. The more that happens over the next few days, the more people do this at the weekend, the more the reeds will get flattened in certain areas, because they fire bait into the reeds, and then the moorhens walk out on the reeds, and that flattens more reeds. And the fish are hiding under there like that, as you can see. And it's great. The thing I'm worried a little bit there is about how much the float's getting bashed against the landing net. Down just a little bit more. Let's go a bit further than that reed then, that bit that I don't like. I'm past the bit that I don't like, and I'm going to push that, just go over that and then push that pole tip under, and then move that pole to the left. I can't flick that at all really. I don't quite know what to do in that scenario. Am I meant to just... I got it quite far under. Am I meant to just try and lift it or not? Or just fire bait over the top and then hold it? Fishing 12 centimeters deep, 12 inches deep. Let's try. So I'm going to just pull that rig out, let it sink, pole tip in the water, push it underneath those reeds, and I'm going to hold it. So I'm not moving it. I'm just going to fire bait over the top. Doesn't feel right to me, but because if I shake the pole, because how far under the water it is, it's not, you know, I'm making the ripple here, but the bait's over there, so that can't be right. Or maybe just in that scenario, you're not meant to go in from that angle. I've got to do that a bit different. Got to work it out. Got to work that out. They're topping on my right hand side. I'll just show you that, I think. Just here. Swirling for that bait. So I don't want to go that far in and under. I still want to be able to get to a point where I can just give it a little tap, I think. I don't like tapping that branch though. That's better. I was going to try and fish peg 6 on house today, but by the time I got here, someone was on it, so. It's not as nice when you've got, when the reeds are hanging over left to right. So where you're into the bank and the reeds are going over the pole, as it were. I think it's easier where you're going into a reed bed from the front. So the reeds are coming in towards you, not over. Be interesting to know what to do, because this edge line's nice, but you know, these fish have, there's definitely fish here shallow. Watch this, this should go straight away. It's not really look very well. Against these reeds, maybe this is the same fish, so if I've got an edge line I can get to in good depth, then I'll fish that. otherwise otherwise I can fish and catch roach against the reeds. It's not just roach down there. Roach don't swell like that. Oh, there's a goldfish. There's a lot of there's quite a few of them in this part of house. I don't know why. Let's see if I can catch it. Caught a couple of them before. No, it's not interested. Oh, it was. You can see it. Maybe you can't see that. I'm going to dog it right by my platform. No. See the F1s though. I can see F1 shallow on this right hand side. Should get a bite straight away. He says. Not straight away, but it didn't take long, did it? You're fishing a match, it's going to be quick enough. It's just chucking maggots, so a couple of hours really. Chucking maggots on that line. And there's a load of fish there to be caught now, I think. Interesting though. They're both edge lines, right? Catch that edge line to my right, catch to that edge line to my left. Not really much in the middle. I thought maybe I've just fished it really badly. I thought I'd catch a few fish out there today. As I say, maybe it's just I fished it badly. So yeah, back over here. Fishing under the reeds is nicer when you're sort of going into the reeds where they're facing towards you, I think, because you can still flick it a little bit through cracks in the reeds, whereas you wouldn't be able to lift and drop really. As soon as you would bring that out, you might get it snagged. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Which is my command, is it? Actually, maybe that's why you do have to do it on this sideways version. Difficult to know. I have to speak to somebody. A couple of quick tips of fishing overshotted under reeds. I think the key is probably catch a few, come off it, feed it, so you sort of regroup. So like here, I'm not getting a bite so quick. I just fish that right hand line. and feed this left one. I guess this will be my backup if the edges don't work. Whereas yesterday I caught on that right hand edge straight away. It was perch, but then as soon as I put the ground bait and micros in, it was F1s. Put that pole in further, push it under. Let's try over that far bank again. Don't like that short rig, do they? I want that top 7 to fish that on the left side. Right, let's get a bit more bait out there. That line for a second. Definitely that's the right catapult to use. I'm going to go back on that longer rig. Yeah. But first I'm going to have some lunch. See these fish feeding here on this pads to the right. Swell, 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 look. quick commercial break. How's everyone doing? Having a good day? You got any questions about this overshotted lark? Then just let me know what they are, and I'll try and answer them. I'm no expert in it, but it's not complicated, but you've got to be technically proficient in it. Under the reeds, I'm catching at 12 inches and 18 inches for up against the reeds and on the right hand side. Because that's a 12-inch rig, and then obviously it's going down further down, going down another 9. So that's what, 12, what's I have 9, 21 inches. Maybe it's about that. So yeah, 21 inches to the left hand side. I've caught some fish in the middle, 21 inches. That's from hook to pole tip. On this right hand side, where they are now, just turn that round. You know, they're boiling for that bait. Look, so that's going to be the shallowest rig. And then when I was pushing it underneath these reeds to the left, that was shallowest rig. So that was how long is that rig? That was that one. That is 15 inches maybe, he says. No, I'd say a lie. 16 inches. So 16 inches under the reeds. And .21 inches in the open water. Much better than that catapult for firing across. Hi Latoya, welcome to the channel. And welcome to the channel, Ronnie. As I said yesterday, and I don't know if I mentioned it today, but I'm just trying to prepare for the upcoming Pole Fishing Masters, which starts this Sunday with the practice match, and then the 3-day festival is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if I can stream it, I will, but these are key disciplines that I need to be good at by the time we get there. What's your question, Latoya? It's going to be sunny today. It's a nice day. It's just slightly overcast. Nice and warm though. Big question that, Latoya. It's taking you ages to type it, isn't it? Excuse me, while my stomach rumbles away. So I don't think I'm feeding these fish to the right. I'm not sure I'm going to go and catch them. I'm going to get back out on this far bank line, I think. And on this left hand line at the top 7. That's better. Ba-ba-dum-ba-dum. That rig. In the middle. Oh, I can see a goldfish. That goldfish, I think, has swum all the way around and then it's popped up in front. A roach grab it then. It's just like a little rattle. Seem to want to be out in this open water, do they? Well, not. So they don't sort of seem to be up in the water in this open water. Maybe I should fish to my right, up the channel more, but keep feeding it, I think. Let's have another look to the left. If I go around all of these sort of areas when I get to my pegs at the weekend and beyond with a plummet, then I can have a good view on how deep all of these areas are by these reeds. And it'll give me an idea of whether I can put a shallow kit over the top of it or not. It should be quite good. I got 4s on, Lee. I don't carry any 5s, I carry 3s and 4s. Why would you want a 5 out of interest? I think I heard Callum said he was using a 5 the other day, but I wasn't sure if that's just because that's the length of the matrix hook boxes. Didn't see really any good reason for... I couldn't work out a good reason why you would want a longer hook length than a 4. I'll put a plummet on this in a minute and just go and see how deep it is. It'd be funny if it's shallower than my rig. I'll use a 5, Lee. I'm going to say yeah, but I'm going to say yeah, but. I understand about you having a slower fall on that part of the hook length. But the whole part of the overshotted rig is if I'm lowering that down slowly, right? So if that rig's all straight in line, right? So the float's just under the surface. So if I've got that float below me and I'm slowly lowering that down, that maggot is not going any slower. You know, it's going the speed of the maggot. I understand what you say, but I don't drop the rig that fast. You know, it's only a 12-inch rig. Or is it 21 inches? I can't see that makes any difference. Can you? Genuinely, I'm not just having a laugh. I can't see how fast would you have to drop the rig. Sorry, how fast would you have to drop the rig for it to make a difference? You'd have to slam the rig down, wouldn't you? In my head, the overshotted rig is not designed for slow fall. Right? If that's like that, there's the maggot. Right, that's my rig. You're suggesting about that rig going down, those shots coming past that maggot, and then that maggot slowly falling down here. But the overshotted rig is all about under, all in a straight line, flick it up, hold it tight, so everything's tight, and then tight back down again. That's how I understand it, not around dropping that rig faster, so then you create a fall in that hook length. That's just my understanding of it, you know? Otherwise you're fishing a traditional shallow rig, aren't you, where you would get that slow fall when you flick it over. That's the slow fall that you would get, because the shots would go first and then the hook length would come after. I hope that makes sense. Might not make sense to anyone that's listening. Can I dob that fish? I think if it's about slow fall, then that's just about a normal shallow rig. Like if I was flicking this over like this and then letting it rest, then the shots are going to go and then the bait's going to follow it, and then you'll get a slow fall on the hook bait. Right? Or you think people are trying to generate slow fall on the hook length on an overshotted rig? I guess you are. That's what you're suggesting to me. That means they're letting the rig go down, they're flicking it up, and it can't be any different, surely, can it? Is that making a difference? You've got a rig that's moving a max, like up to 9 inches down. So 9 inches. And a difference between a 4-inch hook length and a 1 inch on that. Surely that's not making a difference. Do you work for Matrix? And are you selling 5-inch hook boxes? But if you don't, okay, but if you do what you say, you don't lower it down, you let it fall on its own, then you're not maintaining the tight line for the self-hooking process. Can you read what you said again? So you flick your rig, don't lower it. Let the shot take it down. You only do. I'm not sure. If you let that float drift down on its own, I understand what you're saying. This is quite an interesting topic. Is the design to let it go down on its own, or is the design to keep the rig tight, thus creating the self-hooking process? You see, if what you're saying is right, then and Callum Dix did his video the other day on Facebook about his win the other day at the weekend. He talked about his rig. Callum said that he put two extra number 9s on the rig, right, because of the wind. But his normal shotting pattern for a 0.1 float was 6 number 10s. Right? 6 number 10s. But in order to sink a 0.1 float, you only need 4 number 10s. So if you only need 4, why is he using 6? I appreciate you don't know because you're not Callum, but if I follow that theory, it only takes 4 number 10s to sink a 0.1 float. One of these style, and the Matrix ones are the same. So why is he putting extra weight on it? Yeah, I get that about don't let the float come out of the water, but that's what I mean. If there's only, I'm fishing 9 inches, maybe a little bit less. I'm fishing 9 inches between pole float and pole tip, right? That's long, I think. I think most people would be using 6. In fact, I think there's some quite excitement around this removing of the minimum on tunnel. So if the 4 inches rule is gone, then I think people are going to want to put that float even higher to have a shorter rig. It can't be about the fall of the bait in my head. It can't be. It's got to be about the fact that the rig's straight. Now, I'm thinking about what you're saying. And when am I hooking these fish? Is it on the, as I lower it down, or is it on the flick up? No, that's on the lower down. That's not the flick up. So that rig is all straight now. That maggot's underneath that weight, and I'm lowering that bait down. I flick it up and I hold that line tight, and I put it back down again. And you're saying flick it up and let it go down on its own, but that would mean not a tight line between the float and the tip. But I think that's just a normal, that's just a normal shallow rig, lifting and dropping. That was on the drop down. Well, he used a 0.1, he said he was using a 0.1 matrix float, and I don't remember it looking any different to the RW1s. Did it? He showed it on his video. I'll have to look at it again. I was wondering when I was practicing the other day, because I was thinking, how much shot do you need to actually overshot the float? Right, on an RW1 you need 4 number 10s. Well, when Kieran Marsden is sticking his overshotted rig underneath the reeds, it could be different scenarios, right? And I'm grouping them all together. When Kieran Marsden was sticking his overshotted rig underneath the reeds on peg 6 on house in last year's Pole Masters, he's hardly moving the pole, maybe 3-4 inches, and then he's got hardly any fall on his hook bait. He's literally just up and down, lifting it up and down, more like a jigger. That's what I thought I watched. It's an interesting point you pose. Interesting point you... whatever the right words are. I will check with somebody today. And we'll get a third opinion. I think it might depend. And it might be that when you've got that, not like now, not where I'm lifting it down and flicking it up, where you're putting that tip under reeds, right? I can't do it here, but where you're putting that under, maybe the fall doesn't matter. So that rig is straight underneath that pole. So I'm fishing, 18 inches or whatever underneath that. No, 21 inches underneath those reeds, right? I can move the pole a little bit, right? That's just tiny, making a tiny movement in that bait, in my head, right? But there, it's had it while it's static. There's no movement going on there. And maybe when it's under the reeds, it's dead straight like I'm saying. And maybe when it's in the open water, they're trying to sort of do a half and half and have the slow fall, but then I'll find out, Lee. I'll phone people in the know. This is why the stream's so good, by the way, because how do you have this conversation and this debate when you're watching someone doing a video, and this doesn't really sort of come up in the conversation, right? It's just, well, I just do it like this, you know? As an angler, I need to be able to have a little chat and a debate and try and work it out, and then have a different opinion that makes me think about it more. So I appreciate your comments, by the way. Oh, look at that. We should have had a discussion last week because Callum was here last Wednesday doing a coaching day. I could have asked him. Yeah, well, I was, when I was practicing messing around the other day, I put a AAA to get the weight. I know what you're saying about the using the shot. They had that for a while. Well, actually, the rules here. Let me start again. The rules here are that you need an indicator, right? So people here, like who did I see doing it? Steve Parry on last year's Pole Masters, I think it was. He had a float stop. It wasn't a float, it was a float stop. And I remember, you know, I was having a discussion with Sarah about it, not like complaining. It was just a topic of discussion, and Sarah was saying in the shop, you know, the rules of the venue say that you must have an indicator. When you fish a feeder, you haven't got a float. The indicator is your pole tip. So long as there's an indicator, then that's okay by the rules of Tunnel Barn Farm. So you don't actually need a float. I'm sure it was Steve Parry that I saw with just a... Oh, I think it was on the video. Yeah, that's what it was. I think it was on the video for the Pole Masters, where Tom Scully had gone around to interview him, and he showed his rigs on his roost, and one of his rigs was a float stop. I'm sure that was it. If I've got that wrong, then I've got it wrong, but I'm pretty sure what I've said is right. Because I think it was that video that Tom did that sort of made the discussion a little bit more... It was happening a lot more often at the venue. And so Sarah was trying to clarify it for everybody. Very clever. There's no real overhang on those reeds, and they're not really sticking out very much, I think. But we'll just come back and fish. There again. Yeah, I am, Lee. Just find me on the Fishing Stream Facebook page. You can send me a DM there. Or a link. What I'll do is I'll go away and I'll watch for the benefit of everyone else that's watching this video now or might watch it later, this little discussion that Lee and I are having about whether the overshotted rig is about the slow fall of the bait, and then using a longer hook length to create an even slower fall on the bait, or where I'm coming from, which is around, it's about how direct you are to the maggots, and it's that directness that improves the self-hooking mechanism over a normal shallow rig. That's sort of the discussion. And then the other variable is whether you're fishing the overshotted rig in open water or whether you're fishing it under reeds, so where the reeds are folded over and you're pushing the pole tip underneath the reeds to where you expect there's fish under cover. So it's sort of there's sort of two trains of thought and two scenarios, and you know, opinion changes over time, so it could be one and not the other. It could be both. It could be personal preference. It could be because Matrix sell 5-inch hook boxes. I'm gonna have to see if they do. I'm gonna go to Angling Direct tonight and go and have a look to see if Matrix hook boxes are 5 inches. Interesting discussion though, I enjoyed it. I hope the other 34 people watching did as well. No conclusions. No conclusions. But I think I've hooked that fish because I'm tight to the fish, tight to the bait. I think. Maybe I'll make a poll. I'll make a little post on the channel. I'll make a post and a poll and then see what opinions are of people. It's the time, 1:15. That looks like a little dobbing opportunity, that fish. Stir the bait. Oh, pinched you, didn't I? Pinched you. So on that basis, it is 1:15. Just welcome to the channel if you're watching, and welcome to the repeat if you're watching it on YouTube later. I'm just out practicing today. I'm trying to improve my technique of fishing an overshotted rig. So it's more of a technical day than a catching day. I'm just getting used to flicking the rig up, try not to pull the float out of the water, and then slowly let it go back down again. I'm also practicing just putting the pole underneath the edges of the reeds for where there might be fish hiding under a bit of cover. and I'm fishing over to the far bank. There's not a lot of reed cover, and there's some like lilies to the left, but I had a feeling that fish might be spawning in there this morning, and there's a little moorhen family, so I've shied away from that today, and I've just been catching fish up this left hand margin in this open area here, and then a little bit further underneath the reeds. Also for the line out in the open water, and I guess my feeding has been shocking as I try to work out which catapult I want to use, but that's the purpose of the day. But I've not caught out there really. I've had a couple of fish. I've got a load of fish on my right hand side that are just sitting by those lilies down there. They've been topping for the bait. But oh, forget it fish, forget it. You are not breaking my hook length. Thank you. As expected, the fish is great at Tuttle Barn Farms always, and it's allowing me to again just practice catching some fish, getting used to F1s and trying to be a bit more proficient on my top kits. Yesterday I had a good session. I was discussing with Lee the pros and cons of using a short kit and a short fall for fishing down the edge, and you know, I think maybe he sold me on the idea, which is different. I normally use long kits, but I think on Sunday you might see me fish my first match with short kits and short falls. They've only been out about 10 years. Well, 8 years or something, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's not quite as much as that. It's a while anyway. I'm quite comfortable at this now. This is just fishing this top 7 up the bank. I'm quite happy with this. If anyone else has got any questions about the technique or the rig or anything else, then just let me know and I'll try my best to answer them, or at least try and give you an explanation of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I think and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm feeding that right hand side. I've not really got an intention to go back and fish it. It's still there though. I think I'll try and get one more in this gap, and then I'll try and get another couple from underneath those reeds. Just put a bit of bait over there. Oh, okay. Let's get out of this tangle, Graham. Feel free to fast forward this bit if you're watching it on repeat. It's pretty amazing, I reckon. Loads of, well, I say there's loads of fish. There's certainly loads of disturbance on this right hand side. Let me stick that camera in there for a second. Doesn't take long, does it? If anyone could see that, could you see that when I put that fish then? I think it's too far around maybe. I've got to turn a little bit more. I'm just fishing to these lilies. Making a mess of fish into these lilies. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and catch another fish underneath those reeds, and I'm fairly confident I'm practiced. And then I might try a couple of things that I want to do off camera, just to not give away all my secrets for the pole masters. I've just thought that's probably the wrong rig, isn't it? I use it anyway. Let's see if I can interchange them. As before, this is going underneath the reeds where I think the fish are hiding. I'm going to come in from the side here, this bit here, and just let that be where I can lift that. You probably can't, but I'm lifting up that stick or strong piece of reed. It's not the leaf. I'm just holding it underneath there. I'm just going to ping some bait over the top. See if it gets dragged out of my hand. If it's a no, I'm going to move it back and just come to this front bit of reed. I'm going to let the rig sink. Again, I'm going to push it in just there where I can just flick that tip of that pole a little bit. Just create that illusion of bait. Class, got my rig stuck. I'm going to catch that in a second, so I'm going to give up on that. I'm kidding, John. Actually, I'm going to tie some rigs. There's no secrets. There's no secrets. I will not shy away. I'm bringing 3 gallons of casters. I'm not bringing 3 gallons of casters. I'm going to have 3 gallons of caster available. I'm picking them up on Saturday. 3 gallons of casters. I don't think it's going to be a maggot match, but I can tell you this: in the 11 years that the Pole Masters has existed, and the 10 years that I've fished the Pole Masters, I think casters have been dominant maybe twice. The rest of the time it's been white maggot. I think it's only twice that casters have reigned supreme, and most people, as a result of that, just bring a load of maggot. But Andy Bennett said it on the Match Focus last night with Paul Holland, that he said something about he thinks casters will be good. But if you watch my video from yesterday, I caught a load of fish down the edge and short on maggot, not a problem. It's going to be really hard to know how it's going to play, because, you know, always if you're fishing to reeds, you're going to have cover, right? People would fold the reeds over, and then you want to fish casters because they're better at folding through the reeds. Now, a lot of the reeds are getting cut. You're not allowed to fold them over. There's no gardening allowed. So is that going to be the same, and is it going to be so much fishing to that sort of cover, but that cover's not going to maybe be there, or fishing with maggots in open water? I don't know what's going to be, Ronnie. So I am bringing 3 gallons of caster for the 4 days, and I'm bringing 3 gallons of maggot, and whatever I don't use in maggot I will either kill off for dead maggot, or I will turn some more to caster and I will use it down the river in the next, you know, in the preceding weeks, because I want to try down the river putting a lot more caster in over the bait. So either way I'm going to have the bait to do it. But yeah, I'm bringing caster and I'm bringing maggot. People have been catching, I think what it is people have been bringing caster recently, and they've been fishing worm underneath, and it's been quite successful. But we'll see. You'll know an hour before the draw when people come out with their buckets of maggots or not. But yeah, I have 3 pints of each, 3 gallons of each. Yeah, but just sort of as I was saying, if you watch this video from yesterday, I fished short and I fished down my right hand edge on maggot, and just throwed in little balls of ground bait with micros in. I had a great day. I reckon this is so shallow down. Oh, lost it. This is so shallow down there that all that's happening with this shallow kit is it's going under. The bait's probably on the bottom now, and that other shots are just taking the float down. So I'm just fishing basically on the bottom. I suspect that's what's going on. I'm here tapping the pole. It's not even moving the bait, and they're just picking the maggots off the bottom. Anyway, I've practiced, so I feel better about it. What I'll do is I'm going to put a plummet on and go and ship it over there and see how deep it is. I don't even ask how much the bait is. I'm just not asking. All I know is that based upon inflation over the last 20 years, 30 years, they should be a lot more expensive than they are, I think I would say. And as I remind my other half, if she ever gets a whiff of what my bait bill might be like, I remind her that this is my little holiday. Yeah, take a look at it, Ronnie. You're more than welcome. I caught loads of fish down my right hand edge, and I caught loads of fish in front of me. Right, this is my longer rig. I bet this doesn't, do you reckon, how deep do we reckon this is down this area that I've been fishing, right? Put your guesses in the chat now, right? Is it 12 inches deep? Is it 18 inches deep? Is it too deep for me to work it out? I've got the plummet on, and I'm going to try and check out how deep this is. I reckon it's super shallow. But put your guesses in chat. How deep is it down this left hand margin where I've been happily fishing a shallow kit for the last few hours, thinking I'm catching fish shallow. Right, Ronnie's in for 24. Come on, make your guesses. Right. Let's see, Ronnie. Plummet's in. It's going down, 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 down. It's deeper than the kit. Down. There. It's there. I think that's about 6 inches. Yeah, about six to 8 inches, maybe more. So I've been fishing that other kit. That's 6 to 8 inches more. That's a 2 foot. Isn't that a 2 foot? Right, so that's 26 plus another 6. 32 to 34 inches. So it's about 3 foot deep down that left hand side. And I've been catching on that. What's that rig been? 18 plus 18 plus 9. Yeah, I'm nearly on the I'm not nearly on the bottom, but I'm 2/3 of the way down. Just my maths has just completely run away from me. Right, it's that rig. That rig is a good 10 inches. Is that the one I used? No, that's the short one. It was this one, wasn't it? It was this one. Which is 6 inches less than that. 12 inches. So I'm 12 inches off the bottom. So I'm 2 foot in 3 foot. Well, there you go. Ronnie, bang on. No, you're not bang on. You're wrong. Right, I'm going to go and have another one now. And then I'm going to call it a day. After I've just been thrashing the plummet around in the peg. So at least I am fishing shallow then. That's deep down that margin, isn't it? Oh look. Oh no, that's not F1, is it? It's not an F1. Right, I'm going to try and catch my F1 down this right hand side then, on the shallowest of kits. Right, let's move that camera up. And instead, not that kit. That kit. I get so confused. I've got three shallow kits. This is the last fish then. And there we go. I am practiced in time for the practice match. Don't go around that leg. Ooh. Ooh. What are you doing, fish? That far looked. No. Oh, yes it is. He says. Right, so there we go. From me and this lovely F1 on Turbine Farm, that has been a little bit of practicing fishing overshotted rigs to cover and to reeds. Right, well thanks for coming everyone, I appreciate it. Make sure you give it a like, drop a comment, and maybe I'll see you for Sunday's match and for next week on the Pole Masters. If not, I'll record it all and I'll catch up with you later.